Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So today I'll be presenting on Android Application Analyzer, a tool which is developed by me. So little bit about me. I'm having a plus years of experience in information technology and working as a senior security consultant at Northos Secure. So the agenda will be of today is Android application penetration testing. First, we will see what we are looking for in the part of phase of static analysis while doing the Android application penetration testing, and then we will see what are the common tools are used to perform that static analysis, and then I'll be discussing about Android application analyzer. What is that? Why I have built that, and how we can use to avoid some manual efforts. So while doing the Android application penetration testing, basically we split it into the two parts. One is the static analysis, and the another thing is the dynamic analysis. So in static analysis, we check for the shared preference, SQL database, whether applicants store any sensitive information inside that or not. Then we will check for the root detection, if there is a root detection check is implemented or not. We also check for the SSL pinning implementation. Sometime if the application used the or implemented the SSL pinning, in that case, in order to going forward, we require to bypass this SSL pinning check. Then we also check for the Android manifest analysis. In this, we check for the debugger flag, backup flag, and exported component like services and the activities or broadcast, everything. The another thing is source code obfuscation. While decompiling the APK and analyze the Java code, we are able to know that whether the source code is obfuscated or not. The fourth thing is application memory dump. Okay, so sometime what happened for the some of the critical information like credit card or debit card, so it is required to wipe the memory after use it. So we also check for the memory dumps. Then application source analysis. Sometimes it happens that some of the checks are performed at the client end in the APK itself. So in order to bypass that, we have to analyze the source code, and then we can check it or bypass it into the client side. And the last thing is sensitive information in logcat. And in the dynamic analysis, generally we do the API testing, which is nothing but the OWASP Web Top 10, all the authorization, authentication checks, etc., and everything. So the common tools that is used is sandbox content analysis. So in which what we are doing, we just require the ADB command. We have to install it on the our system, and using the ADB shell and using this general utility like SQLite3, cat, and grep command, we are able to identify the sensitive or secret information inside the APK file. The second thing is APK tool. To analyze the source code, it is required to reverse the APK file using the APK tool. And the FRIDA, which is used generally, the wrapper around the FRIDA, it's built on the FRIDA, and it's a script, FRIDA script, which useful to dump the memory of the particular application, Android application. The FRIDA universal SSL unpinning. So to bypass the SSL unpinning, there are multiple methods available. One is the exports framework SSL unpinning utility, which generally nowadays not useful because it's not able to bypass this SSL pinning. So for the modern SSL pinning implementation, this FRIDA universal SSL unpinning script is available, using which we can bypass the SSL pinning. And then for the source code obfuscation, first we require the dex2jar and then GDGUI. So using the dex2jar, it's basically convert the APK file into the jar file, and then we can see the source code of that jar file into the GDGUI. And then sensitive information in logcat. So it's a ADB command, ADB logcat, using which we can see the live streaming of the logs of the Android device. The another thing is application manifest and code analysis using MobSF. So MobSF is pretty handy tool which basically analyze the whole the APK file and checks for multiple issues like manifest file, manifest file, and then if any library or vulnerable library is used inside the APK, then it will basically show that result. And the last thing is Smally debugging APK code injection. So sometime what required, some checks or security maintained at the client end. In that case, we require to debug the Smally file, or we have to hook the Smally code inside the APK in order to bypass the client side checks. So Android application analyzer, so which is nothing but the GUI for Android application static analyzer, which has integrated APK tool, JDGUI, MobSF, FreeDOM, and Universal FreeDA SSL unpinning, and application sandbox analysis. So why I have built this Android application analyzer? To save the time, to cover all the test cases in one GUI, and because it's having a mouse interface, so it's user friendliness to analyze the static part. Okay, so these are the difficulties that I have faced during the Android static analysis. So if we have to analyze any file in the sandbox, so we have to first go to that particular path. So here you can see over here. So I have to go to the data slash the application folder, then set preference. In order to analyze the set preference file, we have to just get that file, and it's in the terminal. So scrolling is also difficult, analyze the content is also difficult if the file is so huge. The second thing is SQLite database. So in order to analyze the SQLite file, any SQLite file, we have to just open that for DB file using the SQLite 3, and we have to navigate to each and every folder by selecting star from table name. By selecting star from table name, and then it will dump all the rows inside the particular table. So we have to go to each and every table inside particular database. So it's consumed lots of time. So I've just integrated into the my tool. So by clicking on a single click, it will dump all the database. We'll see in the later. So in order to use my tool, these are the prerequisite. The tool is built upon the Python 3, and Frida client installed on the host machine. It is required to run the Frida script. MobSF also required to install on the and up on the host machine. Generally, the Docker is available, so you can configure the Docker inside your machine. The fourth thing is FireDOM. Application needs to be running on the device. This is the prerequisite because FireDOM dumps the memory, so it's required to application to be running on the device. For universal FreeDA SSL unpinning, it is require the burp certificate in the tools folder. So let's see the demo for the tool. Okay. So you can see over here, this is I have just copied the tool from the GitHub repo. You can also download it from this location. So I just simply git clone this repo. Okay. These are the folder structure. In the tools folder, I have already put all the required utility which are required to run this particular tool. Okay, so let's just start with the sandbox content analysis, like shared preference file, SQLite DB. Okay, and for the demo purpose, I'm using the Diva Beta APK. So let me just install it. Okay, and let me run this tool. So when you try to open this tool, just a minute. So you can see over the GUI, in which over here there is a device. If multiple devices connected to the system, you can see the device list over here. These are the application list which is particularly installed on that particular device. Okay, and this is the log cat. By default, it will show the log information in this view. Okay, so let's just analyze the Diva file. So when I click on hide default application, it will basically trim this list and hide all the default application. So when you click on this link, it will basically list all the directory inside the sandbox. Okay, so let me just open. So it will create necessary files. Okay, so by clicking on this particular folder, these are the folders which is there for this particular application. Okay, so currently there is no share preference file inside this. So let's just dump the database. So let me just click on any of the database. .db means this is the database. So when we click on this, it will basically dump whole the database, in which it shows that there is a table called Android metadata, and this is the data for that particular table, and this is the nodes. Inside that there is a 6 row. Okay, and these are the column information for that particular table. So by doing that, it will list all the tables inside that particular database. Okay, so by same method, you can analyze each and every file inside particular the sandbox. So by navigating the data, that folder structure, you just click on any of the files. Let me just open anything, any other. Okay, let me just click on Twitter. So the Twitter is a very much folder inside that. So when we click on this shared preference, you can see over here there are plenty of XML files available. So when we click on any of the XML file, it will just show the data of that particular XML file. So by clicking share preference, you can see the data inside that particular shared preference. Okay. So the next thing is source code obfuscation. Okay. So in order to see whether the application source is obfuscated or not, we generally require to download the dex to jar and then convert it into the uh, APK file into the. First we have to capture the APK file from the device, and then we have to decompile the APK file and convert it into the jar file, and then open it into the JDGUI. So I'll just implemented that feature. So when click on this JDGUI, it's basically fetch the APK file from the device. So it's basically fetch the APK file from the device and then convert it into the jar file, and then it will open it into the JDGI. So it's take time. So it's taking too much time. Yeah, just a minute. So let me just run this against the Diva APK. Okay. The converting the APK file into the jar file is taking too much time. Okay, let me run against. Okay, it's working. Okay, so it's done. Okay, so it just start the JDGI for that com.twitter.android.jar, because the application is too huge. So it sometimes it take time for the larger application. Okay, and you can see the source code inside that. You can see and take the decision whether the source code is obfuscated or not. So let me just close this. The just let's check the sensitive information in the logcat. So let's just open the Diva APK. In secure login. So whatever I write over here, it will just simply print it to the logcat. You can see over here, your card number is this. Okay, so you can see logcat also in this particular tool while checking into the ADB logcat itself. So let's just try the Frida Universal SSL unpinning now. So for the demo purpose, I'm using the Twitter to bypass the SSL unpinning. Okay. So let me configure the proxy first. So whenever we click over here and try to intercept the traffic of the Twitter application, I'm just using any random credential. So in the dashboard, you can see over here that failed to negotiate an SSL connection with api.twitter.com. Okay, and the proxy also, you are not able to fetch the traffic from the Twitter. Okay, so in order to bypass, I have just implemented the FIDA SSL unpinning inside this tool. So let me show that the script, which is publicly available, FIDA Universal SSL unpinning. It's publicly available. So these are the public script written by this particular guy, and it's basically bypass the SSL pinning. So in order to bypass, first we have to select the APK or application from this device, sorry, from this tool, and just click on the FIDA SSL unpinning button. So when you click on this, you can see application is hooked and started again. And when you click on login button and try to enter the credential, test@test.com, test@1234. Click on login button. So now there is no error for this SSL error. Okay, and the proxy also, or history also, you can see we are able to capture the traffic of api.twitter.com. Okay, and this is the XAuth request, inside which our credential is transported into the request. Okay, so by using this feature, you are able to bypass the SSL pinning using the FIDA universal script. So now let's move forward. So sometime what happened, application implemented some of the checks at client end. In that case, it is required to analyze the source file and identify that client side check. In order to bypass that, we have to modify the source of the APK, and then we have to recompile the APK file, sign it, and then install it again on the device. Okay, so it's pretty lengthy and also time consuming. Okay, so let's bypass this using our tool. So let me just disable the SSL pinning, sorry, capturing. Let me install one sample application. Okay, it's already installed. Sorry, let me check it again. Okay, let me restart the device. I guess some issue with the user profile. Okay, so now it's installing. Sorry for the issue, guys. So while opening this application, you can see over here, there is a particular challenge inside this application. So when you click on the task, it will basically ask you the decrypted text for this particular encrypted value. Okay. So whatever we write over here, just say that enter valid decrypted string and try to decrypt the string again. Okay. So in order to do that, we just have to identify the point from where this validation is take place. So just let me restart this to load the new application. Okay, select the application and try to dump the application using APK tool. Okay, so it's basically decompile the source of that particular application, and it's stored inside the folder called apps over here. Sorry. tool again. So it's basically decompile the APK and store the source inside this particular apps folder. So let me just open this folder. And you can check for this error message. Enter valid decrypted string inside this whole source code. So let me just search for decrypted. So you can see over here there is a string which is the exit which we are looking for inside the task activity.smalley. Okay, so let's just open this source code in JDGI and check whether the source code is obfuscated or not. So you can see over that path is HP Enro Java infosec activity task activity. Okay, infosec activity and the task activity. And you can see that the validation is this if condition, and if both the string are matched, you can see you will got the you gotcha message. Otherwise it will show your the exception that we see the error message inside our application. So in order to bypass that, we have to modify this condition. Okay, so it's basically inside the task activity and the method name is on create. So let's just go inside that. Okay, HPNG Java infosec activity and the task activity. Okay, and the method name is on create. So let me just search for on create. Okay, but you can also check for the error message on gotcha. You gotcha. Sorry. So there is no string inside that particular file. So there is also some other file task activity $1. So let's just search inside that. Inside this, but when you click on this file, it will you can see the error message over here. So by going upward, you can see there is a if condition over here. Okay, so it is required to some of the programming knowledge in order to modify the source or this Mali code. So this is the if condition for this Mali code, and to modify this condition, so it is equal to, let me just reverse or modify it with the not equal to. So whatever we put, so what does that mean is whatever I put, if the decrypted string is not equal to this string, that means it is a then we are able to bypass this particular task. Okay, so let's just I just modified it, and we just have to click on reinstall only. So it will basically uh, create the APK file from the modify source, and then it will sign that particular APK file and then uninstall the older version and install the new version, reinstall the new version. Okay, let me just open the updated version. So if I put anything over here and click on validate, bypassed. So by doing that, You are able to bypass anything or any checks from the client side. Okay. Another thing is application snapshot, sandbox snapshot reacher for the future preference or reference. Okay, so I just implemented the snapshot button. So it's basically nothing but the snapshot of the sandbox at the particular given time. Okay, so when I click on the snapshot button, it will read down all the sandbox data from the device. So you can see this over here. You can take as many as snapshot as you want to compare the state of that particular sandbox data. Yeah, that's it from my end. Any question? Then I'm free to open. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, we are monitoring the YouTube chat.
Just a minute. I have to open that.
If there are any question, we'll take.
Can you just share the link? I'll not able. I don't have that.
No, we'll just read it out if there are any question to you.
Okay. Any suggestions are also welcome that you are filled that this tool is also having this feature, then I'm also open to implement this.
So I don't feel there are any further questions on YouTube chat, YouTube live chat. So uh, okay, so Mr. Sanjay, thank you so much for this tool presentation, and it was really amazing, and we loved it. The way it bypassed the SSL pinning, and like or and even this Snapchat feature is really amazing. So thank you so much for sharing your tool and making it open source. We always support people who are building their own tools and making it open source.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. And it was great session today by all our speakers, and I hope all the viewers liked it. I also went through the chats, and I feel that it was quite interesting as well. Even the quiz and uh, all those topics were also interesting to you guys. We feel that. If you have any suggestions or any query regarding the tools or any of the topic which are presented today, you are free to contact directly to the authors and speakers. Or if you have any suggestion for uh, our online meetups as well, and if you want to get connected, you can always get in touch with us over our social media accounts, which is on Facebook and Twitter. And I think that's it for today. We really appreciate all the people who have come up and spoke today, and all the viewers as well. And it's really good to have you all. Thank you so much. Let's let's dismiss, and we'll wait for you all for the next meetup as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to all the speakers and viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all the members.